which had the wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause. The image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would. I'm missing something here. Hold on. Had power to give life. Okay, unto the image of the beast. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So it's worship the image or be killed. I want you to notice that, okay? And in the next three verses. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive what? A mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. There's where the mark of the beast comes from. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, not of God, but of a man. And his number is 666. Now what's 3 score? Score is 20. And 3 20s is 60. So 666. Okay? But I want you to notice it's in the mark is in their right hand, or in their forehead. Well, look at this. Now this is to compare. Now we understand that was a satanic thing, right? This is God's version. Okay? Because remember, anything that God does, Satan makes a counterfeit often, right? So look what God says. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. Now Moses had just gone through what? The 10 Commandments. Okay? All right. And thou shalt teach them diligently, the 10 Commandments, unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest in thy way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So we're supposed to be talking about the 10 Commandments. Imagine that. And thou shalt bind them, that's talking about the 10 Commandments, right? Thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be frontlets between thy eyes. Where's your forehead? Between your eyes, right? So you see how this is similar to the mark of the beast. Okay? And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house and on thy gates. And I've said before, it doesn't matter if they're in the courthouse. If they're on every Seventh-day Adventist gate or every Christian's gate, then it wouldn't matter if they're in the courthouse, right? Because people will see our gates. I wish we would follow that. So the controversy here is not over a tattoo, it's over worship. And this mark has something to do with worship. Worship of this image, worship of the beast, right? Okay. Daniel is always the key when you're messing with Revelations. When you're reading Revelations, you can count on Daniel to help you understand it. It never fails. And so I want to look at two stories out of the book of Daniel that will give us clues to what this is all about. Okay? The first story is Nebuchadnezzar's golden image. Now remember, Nebuchadnezzar had this dream, right? He had this dream, and Daniel told him what the dream was. Now Daniel told him that the image had a head of gold, arms and chest of silver, a stomach of brass, legs of iron, not iron of legs, but legs of iron, and feet of iron and clay, right? That's what the dream from God. Daniel says the dream was from God. Nebuchadnezzar takes that dream and he alters it. Now that's a clue to us right there. He alters God's message. And what does he do? He makes a statue of gold. Look at this. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits. What's 60? 60. That's right. About 96, I think, is what I figured out. My math's probably not real good, but it's about 96 feet, I think. Okay? and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. Now, one of the things I heard was, as studying this, is that if the width is not mentioned, then if the depth is not mentioned, then it's the same as the breadth or the width. So we could say it is 60 cubits by 60 cubits by 60 cubits. And it makes sense too if it's a man, because we're round, right? You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense that we'd have the same depth that we have width. Now I was in the house and I read this. Okay, 6 cubits. Well, a cubit is from the tip of your elbow to the tip of your middle finger. So I measured that out, just roughly. That's big. This image was huge. It's almost as wide as my living room. Once I measured it out.
A cubit is 18 inches.
20.
Just on a normal boat.
Okay.
But they had the raw cubit, because it come from Egypt. The raw cubit was 21 inches.
Okay.
So you take the choice of whether you want to go with 18-inch cubit or 21-inch cubit.
Right. But it comes out to really large. We're talking about a huge image. Now, what happens? Nebuchadnezzar the king made this image of gold, and like we said, 60 cubits. And like I mentioned, it was about 96 feet tall and about 9 feet 6 inches wide. Okay? Wait a minute. Let me make sure I didn't miss something just then. Okay. All right. Then, listen to this. Then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded. Now remember, Nebuchadnezzar called all of his staff, so to speak, all the people that served him. He called them to this plain of Dura to see this image, to dedicate this image. And remember, it's not the image from the dream. It is an image that he changed. He changed the image. Instead of being just a head of gold, he made the whole thing gold. Okay, listen to this. Then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, whatever that is, yeah, I'm not used to that one. But anyway, and the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whosoever falleth down and whosoever falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Remember the mark of the beast? If you didn't take the mark, you'd be killed. And it was about worshiping the beast and the image of the beast. Here we have Nebuchadnezzar making an image that's a false image. It's not the image from the dream, but an altered image, right? And he's telling you, if you don't bow down, you're going to be burned up. Now what I want you to notice is, the beast, Nebuchadnezzar made an image. Now the image was of himself. I don't know if you realize that. Because remember, the head of gold, Daniel said, the head of gold is you, O Nebuchadnezzar. So when he made this image of gold, it was of himself. The beast image in Revelations is of the beast. Now, there was a second beast that was telling everybody, right? And look in this passage, it says, a herald cried. So we have the picture of the image, the beast, and the second beast that is like a false prophet. It's the herald. You see, so we're seeing a real similar comparison, right? It's the same situation. Now, I want you to notice also that he said peoples, nations, and languages. In the same way that the image of the different metals represented different nations, right? The head was Babylon, the silver was Persia, the brass was Greece, and the iron was Rome, right? Well, in the same way that image meant different nations, Nebuchadnezzar takes this golden image and makes it one. He's trying to unite all these nations. Do you catch that? See, he's trying to unite the metals. Instead of it all being different metals, we're going to make it one metal. So he's trying to make his nation unite other nations. Babylon uniting the world.